All right, hello and good evening. Quite some clarity today, at least from one group, that is Group 1, where England have made it to the semi-finals.
They've
joined
made a very tough work of it.
exactly. They've joined New Zealand as the second semi-finalist from that group, and with that win, they've also knocked out defending champions and hosts Australia.
Correct.
Now the other group. On which we have been keeping a close eye, and the person who actually is keeping a close eye for us is here with us, Nikhil Naz from Melbourne. Nikhil, all well?
All well. It is late at night here. It's about 11:30. It's Saturday night. While the entire Melbourne parties, we are working. I've just finished the television show.
How come you are live on Sports Today and India Today?
Magic.
What?
How come you're live both on Sports Today and India Today? I can see you and Mr. Gavaskar live on television.
What to do? I multitask. So there's a part of me on television. There's a part of me on digital. No, but that television show, is something that we recorded just about 10-15 minutes ago, and great job to you guys to have turned it around.
To Saransh here, at least give credit where it's due. The man keeps slogging and gets so much I can't use that word. Anyways, you are always after his life. We are in fact always after his life, but see, can you hear me? I think we've lost.
I can hear.
Okay.
Oh, no.
All right. So Nikhil, where are you exactly right now?
I'm at Federation Square. This you could see now the skyline.
Yeah, it's been years now.
Yeah. Behind me is Flinders Street there, and
Flinders.
that's Federation Square. The Flinders Street station there, beautiful.
Yes. So Flinders.
So it was supposed to be this structure was made for the Victoria Terminus in Mumbai, and the Victoria Terminus was made for Flinders Street, and they got exchanged, and the Victoria Terminus came here, and Flinders Street went there. Let me give you a closer look.
Yeah.
Here it is. I think now you can see it slightly better. Flinders Street station.
We will. So Flinders Street, I spent a night there at Flinders Street. So basically, I completely ran out
on the street. You spent the night on the street.
Street as in you have those Collins Street, you have hotels and everything. But I completely ran out of money, so I had to spend a day, in fact a night at one of those what do you call dormitories. So backpackers. Yeah, there are lots of them there. Yeah. We just finished our show. It's pretty late. We were hoping that we'll bump into Virat Kohli somewhere. It's his birthday. Maybe he stepped out to party. There's only one place to party. But alas, he's not there. He's tucked in bed, sleeping well, hoping to be out tomorrow and getting what seems to be another big score. How was it in the morning? We saw those visuals that you had sent earlier in the day. Virat, in fact, the media got a cake for Virat today. And how was it?
Yes. It was great. Actually, Virat said he's overwhelmed. He said, I'm really surprised. It's never happened before. So thank you so much, guys, for having arranged it. Then he cut the cake, and then you thought that, considering he's so conscious about his weight and his diet, you thought that he wouldn't even take a bite. He took a bite and then said, wow, man, this is just delicious. I'm going to just finish it off. He didn't, though. He had a couple of pieces. And then he went off. But yeah, he felt really thankful, overwhelmed. I think those are the two words that come to my mind. But he was pretty happy, great, in high spirits.
True.
And then interacted for the longest time. Got pictures clicked with whoever wanted. Pictures clicked with him. Spent a lot of time there listening to stories. And then went on his way after a long extent. All this happened after he had finished batting. So the practice session was pretty long today. Almost the full team was out. barring your two fast bowlers in Arshdeep and Shami on there. Bhuvi had come. He didn't bowl full tilt, but he was doing some other drills. And then your entire batting lineup was here, including the backup players. They spent a lot of time. KL Rahul had two batting sessions. One at the start, and then once everyone had finished with their batting, he had another stint with the throwdown experts. So spent a lot of time. Batting was starting.
Did he have a chat with Virat this time? Because last time.
By the way, no, he did not have a chat. But you know that the chat that he had last time worked for him. So he's got runs. Guess who had a chat with Virat Kohli for the longest time? Hardik Pandya. So maybe Hardik thought that, hey, listen, KL got a tip or two. He's got some runs. Maybe it's my turn. So I think what was happening, that they were batting simultaneously next to each other, Virat and Hardik. And Hardik was, struggling with his timing. And Hardik then went over to Virat, then had a word. And Virat actually, again, gestures as what we had seen with KL Rahul. You can't really understand. But it seemed like he was telling him, don't go hard at the ball. There's something to do with the timing. And he was trying to explain to Hardik. And then Hardik was listening. And they stopped like the bowling session. They spent about 5-7 minutes talking. And then the practice resumed. And I guess Hardik was then trying things that Virat had told him. So that's what happened in practice today. So maybe KL Rahul, the tips from Virat help. Maybe it's Hardik's turn and he gets a big one tomorrow. If that happens, then it's not a coincidence. Then it's probably something to do with Virat. Maybe he'll make a great coach going forward then.
Absolutely. Right. So that was the inside dope from the man who saw everything from very
By the
way,
in Melbourne, you can get to see the practice, right? So a lot of Indian fans turned up to see the practice. They got a cake. They got a cake for Virat separately, the fans as well. And they sang happy birthday to Virat from outside while watching.
Did he cut him? Did he cut it for them?
No, he couldn't, because and I don't blame him, because it wouldn't have been possible. It was so much of crowd. Had he gone there, he would have been mobbed. It wouldn't have been possible, and I don't think the security also would have allowed. The media cake cutting happened only because there was 20-25 people from the media, and that can be managed. That much crowd can be managed. Even then, the security officers were there. But that crowd of about 200-300 people who had turned up to watch India practice, or maybe even more, that would have been an unmanageable situation, and I don't think the security protocols would have allowed that. So I think that was the right thing. But he was timing the ball very well, Virat. And you guys remember that one video that was made about the timing of his ball? It went viral. That happened in Australia only, during one of the Test series, if I'm not mistaken. Just on the nat sounds of his batting. I think it was similar nat sounds you could hear from his bat today, and the crowd recognizes that. Pretty knowledgeable crowd. So every time he was playing and missing like any batsman, and hitting a few balls that weren't hitting the middle. But the ones that were hitting the middle, that sweet sound, you could see the crowd cheer for even those shots every time he really connected it. So it was great fun practice session also to watch today.
Quite interesting. Now coming back to the must-win game that India is to play against Zimbabwe tomorrow. Hopefully things will be clear by the time that match begins, because South Africa are going to play first against Netherlands. That is in Sydney. That's in Sydney. Then Pakistan will play Bangladesh, and then India will play the last of that Super 12 game against
last of the triple
Zimbabwe
headers as well. 1:30 tomorrow.
1:30 tomorrow.
It's one of those rare occasions. One of those rare occasions where rain, India would be wanting rain. Saiba, are we done? You're leaving? You're going to drop him? I'm live right now.
Oh. Mr. Gavaskar.
See, actually, you're a special guest now. We'll say hi at least.
Hi, how are you?
Sanimai, very good evening, Sanimai.
How are you?
I'm Sanimai, we are all very good. How are you doing? I hope our esteemed colleagues are
taking good care.
No, it's the other way around. He's taking very good care, rather than us taking care of him.
Tables have turned. Who has come to Australia more often?
Yeah,
valid point.
Absolutely.
Sanimai has been coming to Australia much before I was born.
I'm bringing the bag.
Okay,
I'm bringing my bag.
And that
your visit to the vineyard, we all saw that.
Yes, that was fantastic, huh? By the way, I just got let you guys in on a secret. I got a call from the gentleman who owns the vineyards. You
Yes.
saw his soundbite.
Yes.
Yes.
He called. He was so happy with the story. He must have seen, and he said that I believe it went on television. So he has promised the team of sports today a carton of the finest
All
of
right.
his
So you
bubbly
got-
very soon.
You'll have
Wonderful.
to
He said he'll ship it.
You've got extra baggage then with you.
and you'll have
No,
to
no, he said.
pay
He said,
for excess
he
baggage.
said
huh?
he said he'll ship it to us in India
All right.
because it's not ready yet.
So Nikhil, your
Sunny
DA
Gavaskar
is getting
cable.
saved then. You don't have to spend your
No, no,
DA
no.
on the extra charges.
Yes, my
Nikhil
DA
is a
gets
rich
saved. No,
man. He
usually
can
my
afford
habit
anything.
is-
He's talking about.
No. You know me. My DA doesn't get saved. Last time also, I end up spending more than my DA. Huh?
Right.
That's my past history. So
But the phone's intact,
I-
huh? this time.
And the gentleman who's accompanying you is also a partner in crime, I believe.
Yes,
Huh?
I owe him $200 because I've lost a bet.
Oh.
I had punted on Sri Lanka upsetting England,
Ah.
and
bad bet.
he backed England, and it was a close game, but he's won the bet. So
Hey, India, if I have you in that dressing room, the Indian dressing room, of course you can't do much, but would you have preferred to play Australia or England?
England any day. I would never want to face an Australian team in an ICC event in a knockout game. That too, remember that game would have been in Sydney, and the scars of that semi-final of the 2015 World Cup in Sydney would still be fresh. I was there at the ground. It was a hammering or two, much like the 2003 World Cup hammering. So India don't have great memories against Australia, barring the 2011 quarterfinals when India beat them at home. That also took a lot of effort from the Indian team. And considering that Aussie team wasn't that strong, and India were playing at home, so barring that, you've seen more often
T20
than-
format.
But India has a pretty decent
Yeah.
record against Australia in the ICC tournaments.
And at the
especially-
No, but I'm talking about knockout games, guys. You know, knockout games against Australia in their own backyard. No. England, yes. See, I tell you why. I think England can panic on a given day.
Like
England
they did
can.
today.
Like they did today.
Yes, but Australia, big occasions, I'd say 8 times out of 10, they're not going to panic. They're in fact going to turn the heat on, as you know, with Australian teams. So any day England. By the way, the weather, I just wanted to tell you, like Melbourne, the interesting stat is the last game that was completed here, a full 40 over game at this T20 World Cup, was the India-Pakistan game. After that, they've not had a single game that went the full distance. The only other game that finished was the Ireland-England game. That too was also on Duckworth Lewis.
Yeah.
Apart from that, all games have been washed out here. So that's a scare. But I think for the one time that India would want it to be rained, though they'd want to win against Zimbabwe, but even if it's rained out, India still go through to the semi-finals. So they wouldn't mind if it was to rain out. But the update from Melbourne is it's going to be a clear, sunny day. So you're going to get a full quota of 40 overs. So
Interesting. Any changes? I don't think we should expect any change.
Oh, connection's gone.
Okay. I think
We'll try getting him back.
we've lost
Yeah.
Nikhil. We'll be hopefully he'll be back. I think he is walking somewhere around close to Yara River.
You would know.
Yeah.
Of
sir?
course you'd know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Your memories, since we are talking about Australia, and since you do know the area that well, what are your memories the last time you were there?
yeah, I went to the MCG only. So basically, MCG and your Rod Laver Arena or Melbourne Park,
Yeah.
they are connected with that. It's a sort of a bridge,
Bridge,
that
bridge,
connects
yeah.
the two iconic venues in Australia. And right next to it is the Yara River, where I think they shot a small little episode today in the morning, both of
Right.
them. So yeah, it's a pretty and you know it has a sporting culture, Australia as a country, as a nation, and you can see that when you are there, especially around that this place, you know, Federation Square, Flinders Street. You have Melbourne Park right next to it, and of course the iconic MCG. Not just the cricket it's not just a cricket venue.
Correct.
You always
multi-sport.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hence the drop in.
That's
And
the that's the reason you have that drop-in pitch. If when you have a rugby game, you can
Aussie
change
rules,
them.
everything.
Exactly.
You got one in Adelaide as well, right? The drop-in pitch.
Yeah,
I think
now
like-
they have at multiple.
Oh, yeah, I think
Off
there's
the
only
stadium
one,
as well. I think that's the way going forward with these
Exactly.
modern stadiums.
Yeah, because a lot of them are, of course, multi-sport stadiums.
Multi-sport,
you know,
yeah.
so
Yeah. So, anyways, are you guys expecting any change?
I would want a change. I'm not expecting any change.
I don't think so.
What
One
you
thing, in
want-
fact, I wanted to ask Nikhil was, I hope we get him back sometime. But if he did get a closer look at the nets, I just want to know what sort of drill Rishabh Pant had today. If that was a sign of any things. We
But
saw
Rishabh has been batting in the nets. In
Quite
fact,
regularly.
Exactly.
just
So-
before the last game, also, I think he had an extended net session alongside Dinesh Karthik, and
Alright.
Rahul Dravid was watching both of them. Was keeping a close eye on both of them. They were batting simultaneously next to each other, DK and Rishabh Pant. But going by what has happened in the recent past, even during the Asia Cup, all those players who were part of the 11 would not turn up for the practice, and those who were amongst the standbys or who were not in the 11 or in the preferred 11, they were the ones who would
practicing
who
more
would come out for the practice. And similarly here, Rishabh Pant, as you said, Rishabh Pant has been coming for net sessions for practice, I think almost daily. Yeah, I think that's the only.
But are we expecting any sort of freshness from Team India tomorrow? Let's just hope there is some sort of freshness. Maybe they've got a decent break of sorts. They weren't training the day before. They had a couple of days off.
And good for India is that they have some sort of clarity.
Correct.
They know that they will face England if they win that game against Zimbabwe tomorrow. So they know that they are going to face England in Adelaide on November 10th, right? November 10th.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think they would be thinking that far. Firstly, they'll get this
out of the
game
way.
out of the system.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe. By the way, it's the MCG. Huh? MCG, at least in this World Cup, has surprised a lot of people.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because of its extra bounce. It's a bit spicy.
Yeah.
That wicket is a bit spicy, considering the amount of bounce that we've seen.
gets, yeah.
It has. It's a lively wicket.
Yeah.
Fast and bouncy. Not as bouncy as the one that we saw in Perth, but
Optus was
still,
different.
yeah.
Optus was different,
Yeah.
In fact, statistically as well, it's the most bouncy track in Australia. You've got-
Yeah. Traditionally Perth has been,
yes,
has
yes.
always been, but over a period of time that bounce has also reduced. But I am saying MCG bounce, at least in this tournament, what we've seen is almost at par with that of Perth. Of course, marginally, the bounce in Perth is more compared to other, but if you compare the bounce that we've seen in MCG at MCG, this entire tournament is more than in Sydney, Adelaide, and where all have games happened?
Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide.
There's a couple that happened.
Brisbane.
Couple happened in Gabba also.
Brisbane,
Hobart, I
Yeah.
think a couple of games.
Hobart,
happened.
I think happened during the
No,
qualifiers.
Hobart was during the qualifiers.
Qualifiers.
None of the
no,
Super
no.
Bowls?
No, you had the Gabba.
Geelong and
Yes.
Hobart qualifiers. So that's the. So I think Zimbabwean fast bowlers will also relish that opportunity to have a go at the Indian players, Indian batters. But I think maybe they don't have that batting to.
Challenge India, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's where India is head and shoulders above the Zimbabwean
The batting is
team.
maybe two people,
Batting.
Burl and Raza.
Exactly.
Those are the two batsmen who carry the
And
balls.
as far as bowling is concerned, I think they would lack experience, but at least they can always say that we don't have anything to lose here.
Oh, their
But- but
bowler hard
The only standout player, let's say, in that Zimbabwe team has to be Sikandar Raza.
Yeah.
He's been in form as well. Is he enough, let's say, going into this match to rattle the Indian mindset or the batters in any way?
No, I think if you're looking at the bowlers, I would be more afraid of Garva.
Exactly.
Garva, left armour.
The left arm.
True.
He's the one, and of course, Blessing Muzrabani, you can never count out. Very, very tough bowler to face.
Especially in Melbourne, I think that should test the Indians. Melbourne. Now, if you look at England and India, if India is to play that semi-final against
England
on November 10th, what is the day?
Thursday, if I'm not wrong.
Thursday, because there's a
Yes,
2-day
Wednesday,
break.
Thursday, then Friday, Saturday, there's 2 days gap.
2 days break, and then
Yeah.
then you've got the final on Sunday at the
Yes.
end.
In fact, I just wanted to ask somebody about this because India would be traveling from Melbourne to Adelaide. England, they played their last game in Sydney, and then they would be traveling to Adelaide. And Sydney and Adelaide, those wickets are comparable. You know, both they both
But
Give a little bit of
India played
assistance
2
to
games at Adelaide, right?
2 or 1. I think 1.
I can't remember.
The second one is going to be the semi-final.
Okay.
So if, of course, there is an if, although we all hope and expect that India should
be.
go through to the semi. Yeah, the second would be the semi-final.
Second would be the
semi-final. So you know, Sydney and Adelaide wicket is perhaps comparable because Melbourne, you can't compare a Melbourne wicket with that of what you
Also,
get in
another
Adelaide.
common thing when you talk about the dimensions of the ground is they're shorter on the square.
Yes, actually, both
Oval,
Adelaide
both
and Sydney.
Adelaide is, and Adelaide's what, about 75 meters going down the ground.
Yeah. About
I
70
think,
to 80
yeah.
meters.
So hitting straight is going to be a challenge in Adelaide,
As
but
opposed to
hitting square.
you saw it with Rashid when he was batting.
Exactly,
He was waiting to just target that boundary.
The boundary.
Right.
Yes.
True. So the long on, long off. Long on and long off boundaries are
that's
a
like on the
little
shorter
further
side.
away, and that's why you call it
Surya would be licking his lips. Then.
Adelaide
yeah.
Oval.
Huh? Surya.
Adelaide Oval. That's why you call it
Oval.
the
Yeah.
oval
Yes,
shape.
It is oval. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's quickly take a few questions. Should Babar resign from captaincy? Udit Chandani. Then Anuj Gogoi. If India are going to play with UZ in semi-final, then he must get a group
But
game.
let's just
to get
modify
his
that
rhythm.
question a little. Are the criticisms towards Babar, as far as his captaincy goes, are they justified to an extent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, they are.
Yeah, because I
I
don't
think we've seen it enough in the Asia Cup and
not just there. I think in previous
this tournament as
tournaments,
well?
in bilaterals, at times he just tends to have that what I call the Kohli syndrome, where he'll not act quickly enough on something.
you're rigid.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the thing is with white ball cricket, you generally have to be a lot more flexible when it comes to changing your plans.
Yes, especially in the T20. A lot of thinking on the way.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
that
yeah.
Rohit
Absolutely.
Sharma's hands down excelled.
Yeah, he's very, very good at that.
Yes.
Someone like Owen Morgan was very, very good at that.
Yes.
He could change plans in an instant.
Yes.
And you know, in 2 major tournaments that we've seen, you know, against India here in this World Cup, then even against Bangladesh, he was found wanting. Even against Sri Lanka in the Asia Cup final, they had Sri Lanka 58 for 5
And then
and
ended up
still
losing.
allowed them to score somewhere around 170, and they lost that final. Even against the first game in the Asia Cup that they lost, there also that 5 bowler theory, keeping Mohammad Nawaz.
To be fair, the 5 bowler mistake was one they repeated right till the World Cup
Exactly.
and against India only.
And against India only.
And you know,
you knew the plans. The thing was, it was just so predictable that
Exactly.
Yes.
And also, you know, there is a situation where see, Pakistan and Bangladesh, the scenarios as it stand right now, South Africa, for Pakistan to go through to the semi-finals, South Africa, either they have to lose or it has to be a washout.
Washed out. Yeah.
Then Pakistan, if they win against Bangladesh, they'll be through.
But again,
because
it will be down to the margin as well, right?
In that case, by the way, if Bangladesh beat Pakistan, even Bangladesh will be through to the semi-finals.
Won't margins play a role then?
Sorry?
Won't winning margins play a role? Because South Africa are on 5, aren't they?
because if South Africa lose tomorrow, they'll end up with only 2 victories. If Bangladesh or Pakistan win tomorrow,
They'll go ahead with
they'll
points.
end up
6
with
points.
6
3
points.
victories. So both will be locked at 6 points each.
Yes.
But because Bangladesh and Pakistan would have finished with 3 wins, they would sail through to the semi-finals.
But I think Bangladesh will need a very big win because their run rate's really poor. Minus 1.276.
Yeah. No, but in that case, net run rate is out of.
No, but it'll come down.
But
to
you need South Africa to lose as well, no?
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So even if it's a washout, South Africa will end up with 6 points.
That's
So
right.
in that case also, if Bangladesh have beaten Pakistan, they will be through because they'll end up with 3 victories.
No, but even but then won't it come down to net run
Net
rate?
run
first?
rate.
No.
First, they'll see number of wins. Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Huh.
Yeah. So, and by the way, semi-finals, I'm sure you must have seen that video that Nikhil also, they have
Yes.
They've decided on the playing conditions for the knockouts. There is a reserve day, and if there is rain on one particular day, the match will continue from where it stopped the previous night or previous day. And also, it's not going to be a 5 overs a side. It's going to be a 10 overs a side game if there is rain. So
10 over a side, or for a result you need minimum 10
for a result you'll need a minimum of 10 overs for either sides. So that's Tom Cooper home ground, Adelaide tomorrow. Okay. Anyways, Aditya.
Right. Can we just scroll?
Why not play Chahal for Akshar, as Akshar hasn't been good
with the ball, with
the bat. And he's not been bowling much. Ashwin can bat at 7. Chahal could be. Aditya, you know, I think that cannot be the solution, to be very honest. And I don't think India would take that one, because
you'd compromise your left-hander.
Exactly.
Yes. Then again, you're bringing another change. You'll try and bring in Pant because you need one left-hander.
If Chahal has to play, he has to play in place of Ashwin.
That's it.
Yes.
And because they wouldn't want to weaken their
and you're looking
batting.
at Ashwin as more than just a bowler right now.
Yeah.
He's not anyway with the ball. He's not doing, getting you enough wickets.
He's being a proper bits and pieces player, getting a little with the bat, a little with the ball.
Well, I hope he hears that. I hope he hears that, and yes, he gets just as fired up as.
Then I'll also
Piyush Rai saying Arshdeep is performing in crucial match. I think he's been a revelation.
He's been the best bowler, best pace bowler.
Absolutely.
India's you'd say perhaps Surya is of course the player of the year for India, but perhaps second in line,
third maybe.
Arshdeep.
Considering
it's
this year,
it's a tournament where we've seen Rabada, the likes of Rabada, Cummins, Stark,
all struggle.
Even Shaheen Shah Afridi for that matter. A lot of these international stars, bowling stars, have gone for runs. But look at Arshdeep. He's got you wickets at crucial moments in big games. Be it South Africa, be it Pakistan, be it Bangladesh.
Game,
it seemed at one stage Bangladesh were very, very close. And he got you those 2 wickets
that
in
over
that
from Arshdeep. Remember we were talking about it. I think it was the 11th over in that match where he really blocked the runs, got you 2 wickets in the same over. So yeah, he's been a revelation, as Rahul said. Yeah.
Sagar, Rahul's 10 years ago, Virat was the lone warrior in T20 World Cup. 5 years ago, he was the lone warrior, and even today, he's the only one.
Surya, Arshdeep.
Sagar. But that's the problem, no? One player doesn't win you a tournament. You need contribution from the other players, and as we just mentioned, Arshdeep, Surya Kumar Yadav, there have been good contributions from at least these two as well.
Correct.
Virat, of course, has done really. I think he's the leading run scorer in this tournament so far. As of now, 222 odd runs or somewhere close to that in just 4 innings. So yeah. New Zealand versus South Africa semi-final, who will win?
That's the thing. When I was trying to predict this, first off, I think both teams are very strong. But if you have to pick, I don't know who I'd pick, because both of them are such underachievers at this level. You'd want them to do well.
And also, but I think they both have a very, very good complete bowling attack. They have left arm.
Left arm, right arm.
South Africa, who's the left arm?
When you look at the
Parnell.
Look at the 4 semi-finalists, and it's my opinion, I think India's bowling lineup looks the weakest when you compare to.
You're not wrong, because England's is probably the most balanced right now. The way they're going.
But the Indian bowlers have done pretty well. If you look at, I understand on paper actually it looks a little weaker. The Indian bowling attack, but
they've done well.
But they've done well. They've won you games. Arshdeep.
Bhuvi to an extent.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, these famed fast bowlers, they've gone for runs. And but if you look at the New Zealand bowling attack, you have a left arm fast bowler in Trent Bolt. You have Tim Southee's experience. You have Lockie Ferguson, express pace. You've got a good leg spinner in Ish Sodhi, and then you've got a very good left arm spinner in
and don't forget part-time of
very intelligent. Very intelligent bowler, Mitch Santner. Then if you see the other team, that's South Africa.
Yeah, you got Rabada picking up wickets. You got Nokia. You got Rabada.
And
Keshav Maharaj.
Keshav
Maharaj.
Maharaj is there, and so they've got
Lungi Sani. Don't forget Lungi Sani and Giddy.
He's been picking wickets.
He put India's plans to kibosh in that one match.
Chalo, so what we are going to do is we are going to wrap up this show here, but we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of content on sports today, as you've already seen. That's coming your way from Australia, Melbourne, and tomorrow.
Big day.
I know it's Zimbabwe,
Big day,
but
long day,
still
lots of cricket happening, lots of football happening as well. In case
Yeah,
you're
a lot of
interested.
stuff happening.
Yeah.
So still, it's a game against Zimbabwe, but still an important one and a must-win game.
Absolutely.
And the picture will be clear by tomorrow evening.